I just wanted to give everybody a quick rundown of my system, starting with my 720 gallon tank, which will probably be more for aggressive fish, maybe some corals. So this tank will be the next one to receive glass. I've installed a PVC bottom, which I have epoxy down to the bottom, and we'll also put glass trim around the bottom as well for extra support. And this is the 480 gallon tank. Both tanks are 8 feet long and 4 feet wide. The only difference is the 480 is 2 feet tall and the 720 is 3 feet tall. So once these tanks are all in line, then I will be using this area for my fish room. Starting with the first stage that you saw there with the protein skimmer. So it's a DIY protein skimmer, still not assembled, still got a ways to go. There's the bubble chamber. This 150 gallon tank here will serve as a refugium. And then eventually I decided to add a little bit, so there's going to be a shelf up here with probably some frag tanks. And then this 120 gallon will be the last stage of the sump where the return pump will be. So I also have installed humidity sensing ventilation, and eventually I'll put some stairs back here, and I have a walking platform that goes behind the tank for full access. I'll do future videos on that, but today I wanted to focus on the 480 and installing glass in it today. I had a few people ask me about making a video, so I wanted to show everyone what I've been working on. Hello Reef to Reef, this is Alex G, and I'm going to be going over the installation of glass on my 480 gallon plywood tank. I've already done several coats of pond shield in the main tank and even on the sides here. So in order to install the glass, I felt it was the best way was to flip the tank up on end. That way I could use the weight of the glass to hold it down. So in order to prepare the surface before we went ahead and get this glass installation going, I put a couple extra coats of pond shield on here for the epoxy, and then I also sanded it down with 60 grit sandpaper to rough it up. I've already gone through and cleaned it once. I have put down my spacers with the RTV, which in this case I'm using RTV 100 series. So in order to speed up the process, just because there's such a large amount of RTV going down, I have an electric caulking gun that I purchased. It was only 40 bucks. Home Depot has them. I tested it out with one tube, and I was able to empty an entire tube of silicone in about 1 minute, and I hit it at about half speed. So I think that's going to greatly help, because you are working against the clock as soon as you start to use the silicone. It does have about a 10-minute skin time, after which it's not going to get a good bond. So I'm going to make sure before we do this, I'm going to do a couple of test runs with my lovely wife being my assistant. So we go in, I'm basically going to have the glass stood up on end, put the silicone or put the RTV layer down, and then I'm going to slowly lower the glass in place, make sure that it's centered properly, and then lay it down flat. I did use plastic zip ties for sealing, or for spacers between everything. So those are already in place all the way around the tank. I've already dry fitted the glass several times, so there's a slight extra gap in one area, but it's so minimal I'm not even worried about it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you guys the glass installation. I'm not going to moderate it, but I will answer any questions anyone has when I post this video. Thanks. hope you enjoyed that little montage of my glass installation. So it actually went really well. I love the electric caulking gun. I recommend this to anybody that has to put down a large amount of RTV in a short amount of time. Really does make the job go very quick. I used about half speed on it. So I did get a good bead all the way around, and it basically covered the whole width of the overlap pretty much all the way around. There were a couple of tiny areas it didn't. I'm not even worried about it though. I covered it basically from the far edge here with an extra layer, which is going to provide an extra layer of protection to prevent water from pushing in. So now it's time to wait. It's going to be at least a couple of weeks before I take this tank and right it. I'm going to put my top frame into it and get that all screwed in place. I'm going to use RTV as well for that because the water line won't be that high. So basically I just need a moisture barrier in there. I did put pond shield epoxy in here. Just one coat all the way around, and same on the outside of the frame that goes in here. So thanks for watching.